Today my guests are Institute for Reporters Freedom and Safety Chairman Emin Huseynov and Democracy Monitor Head Fuad Hasanov. Welcome to our studio. Thank you. Both right defenders held meetings in Council of Europe from April 11 to 19. Who did you meet with? What issues were discussed? Thank you again for inviting. We met with the Council of Europe leaders who are following Azerbaijan's compliance with the obligations undertaken before the Council of Europe. We wanted to meet with them this time as well. We discussed with them the human rights situation in Azerbaijan, the implementation of the obligations undertaken. We met with the Council of Europe General Secretary Mr. Jagland, Council of Europe Rapporteur on Political Prisoners in Azerbaijan Christoph Strasser, and several members of Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe and representatives of other organizations. We also met with the Council of Europe Human Rights Commissioner for Azerbaijan and what problems in Azerbaijan are most concerning for them. We exchanged views on the situation of freedom of expression in Azerbaijan. Besides, we informed them about the recent situation in freedom of assembly and political freedoms. Besides, other organizations that raised the issues regarding Azerbaijan, including censorship index, Article 19, Norwegian Human Rights House Foundation, were in attendance as well. We also met with Amnesty International. What about Human Rights Watch? Human Rights Watch was attending the January session this year, but in this session they didn't attend, and they will be present in June session. The main goal of the visit was to provide information about freedom of assembly, freedom of expression, and situation of NGOs. We informed about the pressures on NGOs and civil society in Azerbaijan. Besides Enil Fethullayev, the priorities included the arrest of Bakhtiar Hajiev, criminal case against Elnur Majidli, and arrest of youth activist Jabbar Sablanlı. We also spoke about the two international organizations, the operation of which were shut down in Azerbaijan. And now about the reporters. The former reporters paid more frequent visits to Azerbaijan. The Council of Europe representatives are visiting Azerbaijan very rarely or not at all. What is their reason? Did you discuss it? We raised this issue in January session as well. We compared the visits of the new reporters to the former reporters. Andros Herkel and Anders Gross were frequently visiting Azerbaijan. They were meeting with NGO representatives, government representatives, and parliamentarians. As right defender, I am not satisfied with the operation of the monitoring group on Azerbaijan's implementation of the obligations undertaken. Namely, there is no monitoring report unveiled on the implementation of the obligations by Azerbaijan. You've met with the rapporteur on political prisoners, Strasser. He has never paid a visit to Azerbaijan. Did you clarify the reason? We investigated the reasons. He said that he has not been allowed into the country. He refused a visa. He expressed his regret that despite having the relevant mandate, he cannot enforce his rights. He said that it's for the first time in the Council of Europe's history that a rapporteur is not allowed into a member state. He referred to the Russia, which, despite being reluctant, provided all necessary conditions to allow the rapporteur for Chechnya to enter the country. But Azerbaijan is the first country that didn't allow the rapporteur to enter the country. But it's not ruled out that sanctions could be imposed on Azerbaijan for this. He added that in recent days he received a letter from Samat Saidov, head of Azerbaijan delegation to Council of Europe, which said that he could visit the country unless he does it as a rapporteur on political prisoners. But Strasser says he should be provided with a visa in accordance with his mandate. He added that they will not tolerate any more such measures of Azerbaijan and that they will take concrete measures. You have met with Council of Europe General Secretary as well. What's his position? Why isn't he visiting Azerbaijan? Did you also discuss the release of imprisoned journalist Emin Fethullayev? First, I want to note a point regarding Strasser. There are confusing opinions in society which ask why Strasser was appointed as a reporter on political prisoners just for Azerbaijan, and why doesn't he cover the situation in other countries? Strasser expressed that he has been tasked as an expert by the Council of Europe, and his mandate as a reporter on political prisoners is only concerned with Azerbaijan. Therefore, there is no need to seek double standards here. As to the meeting with Jagland, we discussed the freedom of assembly, pressures on journalists, attacks on freedom of speech. Particularly noted the European Court of Human Rights judgment on Fethullahev's release. We underlined in the meeting that Jagland had sent a letter to Azerbaijan president on March 12, 21st, and the letter especially covered the recent developments and the measures taken by Azerbaijan government to restrict freedom of assembly, which contradicted the international conventions. In his letter, he also offered to visit Azerbaijan and meet with the president. We raised this issue as well, and he regretted to say that he has received no response to the letter. But Jagland is insisting, and he said that they will continue efforts to have a dialogue with Azerbaijan. What about the relations between Council of Europe and Azerbaijan? We have not seen any statement with serious criticism. The reason is that the Azerbaijan government is carrying out strong lobbying to form a positive image. They involve corrupt officials from foreign countries in this lobbying. One of them is Mike Hancock, an English MP. Azerbaijani authorities are also using former parliamentarians, pensioners. Former parliamentarians enter the Council of Europe building and lobby. For instance, they disseminate some brochures inviting the current parliamentarians to some events. But self-respecting parliamentarians consider them as clowns. It would be better if Azerbaijan took practical measures instead of such lobbying. The June session is approaching, and serious reports are being prepared by both local civil society and our international partners. I believe that the success of lobbying efforts will decrease at all. Thank you for coming to our studio. Today our guests were Institute for Reporters Freedom and Safety Chairman Emin Huseynov and Democracy Monitor Head Fuad Hasanov.